Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to create a new page. Now an A4 page has, in millimeters, a width of 210 and a height of 297. However, I would like this one to be landscape, so I just simply need to turn those two around. So width of 297 and a height of 210. So you can see if we move these things out of the way, we've got something which looks like an A4 landscape page. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this text box here. We're going to click on it, and we're going to drag a text box onto the screen. There we go. I'm going to write in it what we want to write. So we're going to make our sign for Ben's room. Now you can see that that doesn't fit in the text box that we've allocated, so we can either make the text box bigger or we can make the text smaller, and I think we need to make it about probably 120. So you can see that still doesn't quite fit, so actually we can make our text box just a little bit bigger now. There we go, we'll get it all in there. Correct the other half as well. Brilliant. So we've got the start of our sign for Ben's room. Great. Now the next thing we need to do is to put that strip of image behind it. So we need to create a clipping mask for it. So first we need to open the image. And it's this one here, Danger Stripes. And you'll notice that this is opened in a new window, a new tab within your Photoshop document. So what I usually do is I usually pull it away. We need to double click on this background here to make sure it's a layer and not that it's a background. So double click and it changes itself to layer 0 already. Do it by itself and simply make sure that the selection tool is selected here and move it across onto your other canvas. You can close it off after that. So as you can see, it's absolutely huge, far too big for the page we're working with. So up here we can zoom out a little bit. Brilliant. Now we need to edit it. We need to go down to free transform. And you can see, just like in any program you use, Microsoft Word, anything like that, you get the edges, the boxes to move the image to make it smaller. Now if you take a corner and you press the Shift key, it will remain in proportion. So it all moves at the same size in relation to every other aspect of that image. If you didn't press the Shift key, you could stretch it around. That wouldn't be a problem so much with this one, but it will be a problem when you take photographs, because people start to look too thin or too fat. So we've got this image roughly here over Ben's name. Brilliant. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure we click the layer, create clipping mask, and that image now sits behind Ben's room, and you'll notice it's filled in the text of Ben's room. If we make sure this layer is still selected, we can move it around if we wanted to. I think it's I'm happy with it there. So you'll notice when we look again at the style model, it's got a black edge to the text. So the way we create that is we make sure that we're on the layer for Ben's room, because we want to edit the text and not the picture. So we make sure we've got the layer selected for that, and go down here to the FX button. I usually like to go to the blending option so I can see the full range. And if we move it out of the way a little bit, you'll see what's going on. So down here, the way that's created is with an outer glow. So we need to make sure that this is selected. Blend mode usually normal. Opacity, so that's how clear it is. I usually like it on 100 for this. And we need to select the colour, which in this case is black. So any colour's got black as an option. So just take it down there. Size is obviously how wide it will go. You can see that happening on the screen now. Spread will be how far up the page it will go. So you can see now it's taking it further and further away. And technique, I usually like precise for this version. So we'll put spread somewhere around there. Stretch it around, and I think I'm quite happy with it there. You can play with these things if you wanted to, you know, leave spaces between the text and stuff like that. But for now, we'll leave it there. So, what I then want to do is introduce a new layer, so a new text layer. So again, just drag my text box in, and we're going to put stay out, like we had on the style model. Now you notice on the style model that the distance between the stay and the out, I'll show you again on this one, is very close, whereas in here at the moment it's quite far apart. Let's zoom back in. It's quite far apart. The way we do that, highlight the text, go to this letter here, character, which brings up your characters and paragraphing options, and what we want to change here is the leading, so the distance between the two rows of text. The way we do that is by playing with these options here. Now you'll see that that's obviously far too narrow. That isn't narrow enough. I think we can edit it ourselves and maybe put it on about 100. Yeah, let's stick with 100 for now and see if it works. And we can close it off. Press the tick because we're happy. Go back to our moving tool and move it to roughly within position. I think, however, the text isn't big enough. So if we double click the T on the layer we're working with, we can edit the text again. It opens that text layer. We'll see now that the leading isn't. We'll see now that the leading is too close to each other, so we can go back in and change that again. So maybe put that on 110, and maybe even so 120. Perfect. And then again on the start model, we've got the black edging, a thicker edging you'll notice than on this one, and again we can put that in through the FX option, blending options, outer glow, normal, opacity 100, select black as the colour, technique precise, size, and then spread we want it quite thick. There we go. So around about that. Brilliant. And we just need to move that now so it's where we want it in line with that bit of text. Okay, the last thing we want to introduce is the picture. So again, if we look at the style model, we've got the caution picture there. That's just a picture I found off the internet. You can take your own picture or use one on the internet for the practices. When you come to do the coursework, obviously you have to take the pictures for yourself. So again, we go to File, we go to Open, take the picture from our folder, and again it will open in a new tab at the top here. Here's our one we were working on. Here's the picture. Double click the background so it turns into a layer, and you'll see the padlock's being removed from there, so you can edit that layer now. Just drag it off so we can see both canvases, and make sure the move tool is selected, which it is, and drag it in. We can cross that off. Do we need to save it? No, we don't need it. Now you notice again it's too big for that space we created for it, so edit, free transform, brings up the corner edit points as well. And we're just going to shift it down a little bit until we're happy with the size of it. You notice that went wrong, it jumped out of proportion, so again we're going to leave our finger on the shift key. Down to there, we're happy, and we'll pop that in there, that gap there. Now you notice on the style model, Ben's room is a lot higher than it is in this example here. There are two ways that can be achieved. The first one is make sure Ben's room is selected, so that's the layer we're working on, and that can be adjusted here. So the text height, the percentage of text height, so we might want to make that 150, and you see that that's stretched like that. You can make it 140, it would probably be the closest to we've got on the example, or if we leave it at 100, go back to normal, you'll notice we can actually go to edit, free transform, and stretch that up to the point at which we want it, so probably about there, and we'll leave it there. So the last thing we need to do then is add a box around the sign. So we need to go down here to the shape tool, and you see if you keep your finger clicked on it, you can choose a range of shapes, but we need the rectangle tool. Now it will usually fill with whatever colours put in that colour palette thing there. So drag it over. That's about right. The border around that's pretty equal. Excellent. Now the problem we've got here, look, is it's created a clipping mask. So actually we need to move this probably up to the top, and you'll notice that it's filled with colour. So we need to change our options here to that. And we want a thicker border around it. So again, an outer glow, normal, black, opacity 100, we want it completely solid, precise, size, depends how thick we want it, I think about there, spread we want it to be quite solid, so I'm going to give it a little bit more so it takes the bottom. And there we go, the last thing we need to do is to crop it so we don't have any of this blank space around the edges. So crop tool, around the edges. Are we happy with that selection? Do we want to make it bigger? Do we want to make it smaller? No, but I think we're happy with that. The tick and confirm our choice. We're happy. File, save as, I'm going to save it into my media folder, so we're going to call it Ben's Ringside. And because I want it to be a picture, I don't want to be able to edit it again, I'm going to save it as a JPEG. If, however, it's something we were coming back to, wanted to be able to edit again for a second time, we need to save it onto Photoshop. So we're going to save it as JPEG. Save. We're happy with those options. And that's it.